All right, hello everyone. Let's see. Today I'm gonna see if I can get something working with my receipt printer I've been wanting to for a while, and that's printing out images with it, or like code snippets using images. It's gonna look something like this. Someone posted this the other day, or a couple of hours ago on Twitter, and I want to see if I can get this kind of like, apparently it's called drop caps, printed with my receipt printer. So that's what we're going to be taking a look into. So first I got to figure out, what I'm doing and to make sure my receipt printer is actually active right now. Let's try and see SSH to my Raspberry Pi that's on my desk, and I should still be plugged in and active. Dev USB, yeah, it's still there at LP0. So you should be able to write a script to write some data to this and get a receipt printed out. I have my application that I've been using for this at code ping receipt. So if we take a look in here, it's a Laravel application, and we can go, I think I have a command in the app directory that has a test command that I can use to write some data to this. I might just create a new one to expand off of this. Yeah, send message with emojis. I use this for a YouTube video. So we go ahead and take a look at this. It tries to send some special characters and then cuts that out. So we can make sure the printer is actually online by trying to run this command. And we'll see if we get a message printed out. PHP artisan, I don't remember what the command for it was. App send emojis, maybe? PHP artisan list. Also, if I sound like crap, I'm getting over being sick, so you'll have to deal with that. I apologize. Nice. So then here we go. Here are some special characters, and it's blank because we don't have any special characters supported in the default set for this printer. And so that's something else I'm going to be working with, is that let's open up Epson TMT88 IV. I have the older one. And there should be I don't want the driver, I want the manual, but the tech manual. Should be like some technical reference guide from Epson. Is this the one? Yeah. So there's different modes that can be used for this printer, depending on what you're using it for. And the default one that I just send text to just has like one page of characters. If I can find it in here, this is all specs about the receipt printer and the thermal dynamics for it. Let's go. Ooh, printer. I saw character set. User defined character set. So it's down here somewhere. Character sets. Maybe. Is this not the page I'm looking for the character sets? Oh, here we go. Okay, so yeah. These are the predefined character code tables. So the default table is this one here. This is common to all pages. It's the international character set is USA. So this is what the printer came defined with, and is like the de facto character set. This is what shows up, and this is what the printer has in memory to print from, and the characters that I can send to it. So it's very basic. Like we're talking the standard alphabet, numeric characters and a couple like the special characters that you might see on a regular keyboard, exclamation points, parentheses, and stuff like that. So what I want to be able to do though is print out code for this. But the thing that kind of sucks is that I'll have to switch between multiple sheets depending on what specific character is currently being printed. So like, here's some like box drawing characters on the second sheet here. We have some of like the shade characters. I think there's some Braille characters in here as well. But box drawing characters, there's katakana, so Japanese symbol characters. But I'd have to like go through a block of code and say, oh, well, this one character, I need to swap this sheet out and load in a whole set of other characters, print that out, swap back to the other sheet because there's now an A that I just need to regularly print out. And I feel like that parsing of kind of going back and forth between that's just going to get really annoying really fast. So what I can do for an alternative is if I go to the, what is it? The ESC POS PHP, the library that I've been using for creating ESC POS codes to send to this printer using PHP, there is a image send capability on this. Also, I don't know if that ticking is coming through my microphone or if it's just coming through my headphones. But if that keeps up, I'm gonna have to figure out a way to stifle that, because that's really annoying in my ears. And if it's coming through, yeah, it looks like it's also coming through the mic input. That's not a good thing. Image, bit image, graphics. Okay, so yeah, I should be able to send an image to the printer. So if I send an image in the size modifier, a default double width, double height, I don't know what that's going to do. I should be able to rasterize like a block of code, which is what I want to do. Save it as an image and then send it to the printer to print it as an image. I don't have to do any kind of parsing. I don't have to do any kind of like, parsing, figuring out different characters for the different pages that are there. I could be able, and I wanted to print an image on this printer for a while anyway, so this is gonna be a good excuse to do that. Let me see if I can figure out what that signal's coming from. I think it's my router. Hold on. Okay, I think that solved it. Hopefully. I don't hear any ticking anymore. So if you hear ticking, let me know and I'll try to address that. All right. Yeah, figure out how to print an image on this thing. So there's an example folder here. I'm also gonna create a new command. PHP artisan make command print image. Let's go ahead and open that up. We don't need any descriptions. I'm actually going to copy the existing command because that'll bring in all the library. I don't have to do that stuff manually. All right, so now I have to figure out how to get an image out of this and print it. Graphics. Let's see what they have for a demo in here. Oh, so it just loads up a PNG. Set graphics to tux. And then just run printer graphics instead. And then feed and cut. And then close it out. Okay, so we have to... Printer... Graphics. Graphic. I'm going to be using the standard. No double width, no double height, so that's fine. Then feed. And then cut and close. All right, so we need an ESC POS image as the class to bring in. Let's instantiate one of these after the printer. Load. We'll put this in the... Isn't there like a resources URL for Laravel? Also, I need a graphic. Let's see if we can pull out a picture of just like some text. Trying to think of what code base I want to use for this. Because I want to start with code because this is what we're going to be printing out. It's a block of code, so I want to stay with that. Let's see what they have for GitHub. What's the Next.js repo? Let's just pull out something from there. This works. Okay, so let's copy this. And I'm actually curious if it's going to print different colors or not, and if it's going to be like a like dithered or slightly darker or lighter depending on the color. Because it's a black and white printer. It only prints like the paper is either burned as a 1 yes or a 0 no when it's white. So I'm curious if this has anything built in to handle the fact that like there's some red in there and some purple, which are obviously a little bit lighter than the black text. So we'll figure out we'll see how that handles that. All right, we got the image. I need to figure out where I'm putting this. So there are Laravel helpers. I also don't know why Bing is my default search engine right now. Oh well. Paths, app path, public resource path, config. Just dump this in storage. Storage path. App code.png. Did it need anything else for that example? False. I don't know what that boolean is supposed to represent. That's the only example I have of that. You can take a look at the source for this. Maybe that'll be... It'll uncover what that is. Allow optimizations. Okay, I don't know what the optimizations are that it wants me to allow. I'm gonna go ahead and say no to that for right now. So, okay. Storage path, app code, PNG. Now let's CD storage, CD app. So we just gotta put that in there as code.png. So go ahead and open up a new tab and go to my desktop. That's where my screenshot is. Let's go ahead and rename this. Okay, so now we have code.png, rsync from here to pi. What's the IP address for this? I don't remember. There it is. Home pi code ping receipt storage app code.png. Okay, so the file should be in there now. Nice. Okay, let's go ahead and see if that command works. PHP artisan print image. Uh-oh. 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 It's... Uh-oh. Let me rerun the other command so I can get it to actually cut, because it just printed out like a glob of really weird text. What is the other command? Oh, great. Yeah, the printer's like stuck now, so it won't print anything else. I might have to hard reset it and hope for the best. I might have to restart the whole Raspberry Pi. So here's what it ended up printing out from that image. I don't know if I'm supposed to be setting some kind of flag in the printer, or if maybe there's like a dip switch in there that I need to set in order to allow it to print images, or maybe it just doesn't support it. Maybe this is only for like newer printers, but I could have sworn that somebody on either my YouTube video about this printer or something else before that said that they do support bit images, and there shouldn't be an issue getting it to print. Oh, I didn't even see this. The function bit image takes the same parameters and can be used if your printer doesn't support the newer graphics commands. As an additional fallback, the bit image column format function is also provided. Bit image. So it just takes the image and the size. I don't know if that's a better thing to do. Let me make sure the printer is actually working now. It is. Okay, cool. So we can continue on. It just needed a nice little reset. All right, let's go ahead and open back up the print image command. So maybe instead of graphics, we're going to try that bit image instead. It does say it needs a size, so I'm not sure if by default I need to provide it one. Bit image graphic. Yeah, bit image, ESCPOS image. Here's the image, and then size. I don't know if I need to give it a size. Printer. Bit image. Size. Okay, it's the size is the default, so that shouldn't be a problem. Let's go ahead and save this and run that command again and see if it actually works this time. Nothing yet. Oh. Oh, it's coming through. It took a while, but it worked. It's a very weird sound that it made too. But here we go. We have code printed, and it's, you know, it looks like the image that I saved. Based on what I said earlier, though, so if you go ahead and take a look at that image. Let's go to desktop. That code open. Let's take a look at this image. We can see, for instance, the use SWR up here, or import use SWR. How the use SWR is in black and the rest is in red. If you take a look at the receipt, the image that was printed out, see if I can make it look here. It is significantly darker than the surrounding text and like almost looks kind of bold. So I'm wondering if, I'm not wondering. That's the color difference I was trying to print out at, but it's not that much of a difference. I'm actually pretty happy about that. It's pretty like consistent throughout the whole picture. So that makes me feel pretty good. So now, excuse me. So now what I'm thinking is we just have to create some kind of block of code. And then what we need to do is create a drop cap for the initial letter and have it be some kind of like ridiculously swirly font. And then we'll have to render that as an image, send it to the printer, and print it out. It shouldn't be that hard. I wonder what kind of font we should use. So I'm thinking we need to have something like elaborate and swirly. That's what he's used in this example here. Let's go ahead and can we open up this image in a new tab. Keep this floating around in here. So we need something like fancy, swirly like that. Fancy. Let's go fancy. And want something to look pretty good too for a lot of these letters. So like the example that I might use const as the first letter. So maybe a C. We can also do I for import statements from JavaScript. What else did this have in here? It started with export. We could do E or return. So let's try those 4 letters and see which one looks halfway decent. I like this. I like that this has like floral aspects to it, or I can't think of the right word for like plants. But I like that over just like ridiculous swirls like this. This is a little too, it's a little too French for me. This is nice with the leaves and everything. I'm big on that. Yeah, I think that's gonna be the best option. I'm gonna stick with the Floridalia. Okay, so we have a font possibly used for it. Now we need to, so let's grab some code and convert that to an image first, and then we'll worry about the drop cap later. I'm gonna probably have to use, there's a CSS for drop capping, isn't there? Yeah, drop caps, CSS tricks. Okay, so yeah, we'll basically be mimicking this, but a block of code, have our cool fonts in here from Google Fonts, and then throw in, have that be rasterized by like a headless browser, and print it out on the receipt. And that should work. I'm probably going to do that locally first. And just get it, like, do all this locally, be able to rasterize an image, send the image to the Raspberry Pi, print it out like we did with this one. Make sure that it's working as expected. And then if everything looks good, try to actually implement it on the Pi itself and have it do everything in the background. So let's go ahead and open up, I'll just use the desktop here and create like a basic HTML page. Text.html. And this will be the starting point for this kind of drop cap here. P has drop cap, so it's using the CSS attribute first letter. That's really all there is to it. That seems easy enough. We are going to need that fancy fleur-de-lis letter, fleur-de-lis letter, and everything else is going to be formatted as a code block. I want to use the same code that we were using earlier. So let's go ahead and what did that picture have as here? It had a bunch of just solid lines. So yeah, let's copy this right here, and we'll use the I import statement. Did it not copy? Okay. So let's create some HTML boilerplate here. And then in the body, we'll do is it pre and then code? Just pre. Let's do just div and a code block. I'm not sure if this is going to show up as I want it to. We'll find out. I might need to put in a pre-block here and have them all be at the left edge to get that formatting working right. HTTP server, which should be installed on here. That's not showing up as I want it to. Maybe I do need that pre-block. So yeah, I need the pre-block for the new line characters. Is it code and then pre, or is it pre and then code? Let's try this way. Okay, here we go. That looks fine. I don't need to be all the way to the edge anyway, because I'm taking a screenshot of this and sending it to the printer. So this is fine. And then let's go ahead and copy what we have for this drop case CSS here, drop cap CSS. How does it, what? Oh, this is a different style. No, I just need that one. So we should just need the one. Oh my gosh, the one style here. Hey Mark, how's it going? Hey Rith. I'm just now checking out my chat. I probably should have been doing that a while ago. I'm in the zone. AutoZone. All right, let's add some CSS styles in this. For code first letter, I think is what it was. Yeah, first letter. I haven't used a float statement in a while. We're gonna use that. Font size 6 rem. Line height 0.65, and just set some margins all around. Actually, I should only need these two. We need to set the font family, more importantly. It's going to be this here. So let's go ahead and get this font. Embed code. And we're going to set all of these styles here for this. And we'll get the embed code as well. We'll add this to the header. Okay, so now we should see a giant I here to signify that it's the first letter in the code block. Let's go ahead and see if that is the case. That's not the case. Try to figure out why. Did I forget a closing statement? Yes, this is amateur hour. That's not showing up though. I wonder if I can't. Can I not use this on code blocks? If I did dot code and then change this to a div of class code, like maybe it is a elemental issue. No, maybe it's a pre-issue. It is a pre-issue. Okay. So that's going to be kind of difficult. Is that if I can't use that CSS selector, that first letter selector in the pre-text, I'm going to have to basically manually go through each individual line and add a line break into it. I also drastically need to fix that spacing issue. That's really bad overlapping, but it's loading and it's working, so it's a step in the right direction. All right, let's go ahead and tweak this some more. So let's get rid of the pre tags here. And let's see if we can just use a code block here. And have this as just code. That still isn't working. I guess maybe it has to be a div. Also, I don't know why I'm still trying to write this all in Vim when I'm not on the Raspberry Pi. I'm just going to use VS Code for this. Okay, so we'll just call this code. We'll call this div class code. Let's make this look a little nicer. Okay, so there we have our fancy import I. Now this always should be, though, a uppercase letter because I want it to have that fancy display to it. So we could do, what is it? Font display uppercase. What is the uppercase CSS selector or attribute? Text transform. There we go. Okay, that looks way better. All right. I wonder, can I use a pre inside of this to give that formatting better and have that? I wonder if it'll keep that first letter selector. It will. Okay. Okay, we're on to something. And that also, so that pushed everything out that way, but didn't for the initial line. I wonder if I have to pull those all the way to the left of that. Okay, that makes it a little bit better. And what am I trying to mimic for this? Okay, so I need to push everything over for that one line. So maybe don't have a float there so that everything kind of cascades to that same, the same margin, I guess. It also is kind of big for this font size, so I might want to bring that down to like maybe 4. That looks a bit better. And then maybe pull all of those over. No, it's lining up pretty well because then this drops down here over here. So that's, I think I just need to improve maybe some of this margin a little bit better. So this is top, bottom, left, right. We have no margin. Let's just do one for the right, top, right. Let's do 2rem. And then bottom and left. Okay, yeah, it's looking pretty good. Maybe a little bit less, 1.5. There we go. Okay, this is looking pretty nice. I need that lines up with the loat and then the float, so all of that looks the same. Now I kind of want to see what this looks like actually printed out. And one of the things that I'm kind of bummed about, if we take a look at like the screenshot that I printed out earlier, is I really wish there was a way to determine the aspect ratio of these images of this print. Is I want to say, you know, regardless of the full total width of this. So if this right here is going to be, I mean, I can take a look and see how wide that image is going to be. So if this full width is 560 and change, is I wanted to say no matter how wide or how like narrow that image is, I always want it to fit on the receipt. So I always want it to kind of, I don't care if it scales it up or down. I always want it to be the width, you know, of that receipt. And it doesn't look like there's a way to do that. And also, but like, I'm kind of disappointed because it's it looks arbitrary. Like this, I have no idea what the width of an image, a bit image, is supposed to be for that. So I don't know if there's a way to kind of figure that out or determine it through my printer's manual of like the, I guess it would be the pixel width of that particular writer. And then we can determine, you know, how much of an image to scale it down by. I guess we could play around with it too. We could play around with different values and say, you know, okay, at 360, that's the width. It's a max width that I can print from this printer. I wonder, let's see if there's just like an answer for it. First of all, while I'm in here, I gotta get rid of Bing as my search. I don't like that at all. I have no idea how to put a different... Okay, well then this is gonna wait because that search did not help at all to find what the default search engine for Microsoft Edge is. Anyway, So Epson TMT88IV bit image width. Maybe there'll be something about that. Technical reference manual. That's a different website. The printable area of the paper with a width 420 dots. So I'd assume then that a dot corresponds to a pixel, at which point then the pixel width would be 420 wide. We can test that out. You can take just take a screenshot or an image that's 420 pixels wide, try to print it out and see if that works. So we have one that was our 700. Let's go ahead and take one that is about 420 wide. So it's looking like right about there. Make it an even 100 high as well. And now we have our two screenshot images. We'll rename this one code long and code 420. All right. Hey, Dev. So now let's put both of these on the Raspberry Pi. Excuse me. And then we'll try to print those out and see what happens. Rsync ABCH. We'll try the 420 first, because if that doesn't print the whole picture out, then we know that we're still not great with the lines. I forgot the IP address for this again. Code 420, pi 192.168.135. Like, burn that into my mind. All right, so that's up on the Pi. Now we can clear this out. I kind of want to just, so I don't have to keep, what is this white bar here? Oh, well, whatever. So I don't have to keep having to try to clear out or rename an image each time that I put one on this Pi. I'm just going to go ahead and clear the old one out, rename it to code.png and try to print it out. So that was in the storage app directory. So now we have our code in code 420. Let's go ahead and remove code and then rename code 420 as code.png and then try to run that command again and see what gets printed out. Okay, so this is what printed out. It's looking pretty good, actually. But I don't know if it is as wide as that image was. I think it still cut something off. So, let's go ahead and take a look at code 420 and compare them. Yeah, it cut a decent amount off. This is like half the image width. But I think I know what the problem might be, is because I'm using a Mac on a, what is it, the like 2x screen pixel width. The screenshot that I took, though, it said 420. I'm pretty sure it's double the pixels. So I took a screenshot. Actually, if I go ahead and take a look at this image properties, it might be, was it 420, 840 wide, actually? Yeah. See, it's actually 840 wide. So I need then 420 divided by 2. I need 210. So that's the max width that I can send. So let's go ahead and take a new picture and see if that fixes it. What mic am I using? I'm using a Rode Procaster. It's a Rode Procaster, and it's attached to a Focusrite Mini through a, I don't know what this is called, like a little preamp module too. And then the whole thing is just plugged into the USB on my Mac Mini. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at that. So let's open up that code block again. And this time we'll only do 210. So we'll just do that first little line here. And now let's go ahead and see if this will work. So let's remove code. I'm just gonna remove this original code here, the code image here, and then rename that screenshot to code. That we can just push that up with rsync, and it will, I don't know if it'll replace the one that I have on there currently. I'll just go ahead and remove the code that I have on there, the code image that I have on there. Push that up. That's in there. Let's go ahead and run that command again. I don't know if you could hear it was also significantly faster with this with this size. So this image here, the original code image that I had, that took a while to print. I mean, each line that I went through, like this whole piece of paper probably took maybe like 25 seconds to print. This one was a bit faster, although it did go line by line. This one was pretty much instantaneous. So I think this is the correct size that we're looking for. If we go ahead and take a look at the actual image itself as well, then it's cut off at user and then fro. And yeah, we have basically the exact size image that I'm looking for. It does look like they could take a little bit more on either side, but I don't want to risk it. And particularly with the fact that if I go ahead and print out a regular receipt too, there's not that much room because it stops right about where this last question mark is. So if we take a look at that and then compare it to that, we got like maybe, I don't know, 1/4 inch that I'm not hitting. That's fine. Okay, so we have to scale the image to this size and then send the whole thing to the printer. So let's go ahead and just test that out to see what this kind of looks like. So let's just go ahead and copy this whole little block of code here. And I want to see how potentially ridiculous this could look if this is scaled down to the right size. So we'll call this code large, and then I'm going to go ahead and open it up in preview, and then just go ahead and transform the size and adjust it manually to 210 wide. Yeah, it's small. But we'll see if it prints out and see if it looks like something that I would want to have displayed and look nice. Because then otherwise we're gonna have to figure out like what the max character width that I would want on each of these pages is, and then adjust from there. Did I say code large? I think is what it was. We'll copy it over as code. Oh, why did I just do that? I meant to see if it was in there, not remove it completely. There we go. Okay, it's in there. Let's print it out. What? I can't. It's so small it printed nothing. Oh my gosh. You can maybe make out like a couple of little baby dots in that. Let's see if the camera will pick it up. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Okay. I guess let's figure out how small we can make it to be legible. I mean, basically I kind of just want it to be like this. That doesn't really leave a whole lot of room though. So we might have to severely limit the line width. You know what? Let me try that original image that I had here for 420. Let's go ahead and try scaling this down. This is only scaling it down twice, and it would be an even scale as well. So if we did 420, scale this down, that's not terrible, and I should be able to get a decent amount out of this on the printer. There's a good, yeah, there's still a good amount of like ink that's on here. So let's go ahead and send that one out and see if that prints a little bit better. Because I'd like to have at least like the full import line width available on each of those lines, and I have to cut that up. So let's go ahead and copy over for code 420 and print that out. It's a bit better. It shows something. I can actually make this out pretty well. It's just small text, but I think it looks pretty good. I am curious though if I can print more than that. I kind of want to try to do that. See how much it prints. So let's go and take code long. Excuse me. Trying to think of the way that I can test this out, but how many exact pixels I can print out on this. What if we have a series of just repeating characters of the same size? So what if I, down here, let's just create a new line of a bunch of underscores. So now if I take a screenshot of this and know how wide I'm printing it out. So we'll start exactly at this start of this underscore here. Let's say we're going to print out like this much. 495. So then I can take 495 divided by the amount of underscores that are there. And I should be able to get a close approximation for pixel width that this printer is able to print out. Because I feel like there's more than the 420 dots that it said I can print out. We'll call that code dots and get this sent over to the printer now. And this printed out. Here's our little example here. And let's see here. We have bust out the trusty old, and you could see that. I mean, this went almost all the way to the edge. So we take a look at this. This is 420 exactly pixels wide, and this is whatever we wanted it wide. It got a decent amount further. So now if I count how many underscores there are, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 and like a half. So then it stopped at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know, actually, I'm going to open this up in preview so I can exactly count. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. It stopped right about here. So I think it's about 512 pixels wide. And in all honesty, if we wanted to, we could probably just crop it at an even 500 and it would be about the same on both sides because the image starts further on the left than it stops on the right. So it'd be nice to kind of like tighten that up a bit. So that's what I'm going to do. We'll call it 500. 500 pixels wide. Okay, so now what we have to do is generate an image out of each of these pieces of code. So I also need to decide how why I want this. So I want the imports to always stay. So I think I'll just keep this width as much as possible, and then everything that goes past however many characters this is, we'll cut it off to a new line. In all actuality, I could probably just cut the screen size and have the width of the element be 500 pixels. That way when the image is drawn, it'll always be 500 pixels. So we take a look at the div class is called code. So we can call code to max width of 500 pixels and just have an auto margin on either side. But I think because it's a pre, it's not giving a new line here. Can I word wrap a pre-text? Word wrap break word. So if I do code pre word wrap break word, that's not working. Does this whole thing not work? This is a very old answer considering it's giving Internet Explorer 5.5 as some of the potential fixes for this. Okay, so it's one of those that work. Maybe it's pre-wrap. Pre-wrap it is. Okay. So yeah, that stops it at 500 pixels. Let's get out of some of these tabs. I have a lot open right now. So then what I need to do is, after we have this code in here, to generate an image of that text with some kind of headless browser and save it as an image. And so you say we can use intervention image, which I've used multiple times. It's a nice PHP library for creating images. No, that's for manipulating images. I need something to get the image out. Spatty has a package for that. Browser shot. That'll generate I think you can use PNG. Anyway, it'll generate an image out of a headless browser, given whatever you want. So it doesn't have to be a live URL. It can be a Blade template, or it can be raw HTML. You just pass it to it. It'll load it into a headless browser, take a screenshot of it, and then return back a JPEG or PNG, a PDF, whatever you want. Creating images. And see, this is getting live URLs. I know there's a way to do it with like local files that happen to have a deployed domain somewhere, or a deployed page. Maybe it was creating HTML. It's a body HTML. I know that there is a way to do this. Okay, you can pass a view with browser shot HTML. So that's what I should be able to do. Is it not? If I do HTML, is that like a hidden attribute or something? Yeah, browser shot HTML. Okay, so it's in the introduction for it. Yeah, browser shot can get arbitrary HTML input or the body of the HTML after JavaScript has been. Okay, so all right, that's interesting. Okay, I'm gonna want to see if I can run it on my Raspberry Pi, but I should be able to. I should have all of the prerequisites installed for it. Where's the installation? Requirements, Puppeteer, and that's it. Easy enough. I do wonder if there's can I limit the size of the browser for this? So I go ahead and create the image, or I wonder if there's a size. Why am I in full screen? Oh, window size. Okay, so I can set the window size then to just 500 by 500. And what's going on here? Oh, my window became full screen for some reason. Okay. I set the window size to 500 by 500 and then just have to save the image, print it out. Emmett said, how close are we? Pretty close. We got printing out this fancy script text of blocks of code here. I was able to raster or determine what the size of the image of this printer is expecting, which is about 500 pixels wide. So now what we need to do is, given a block of arbitrary code like this here, is I need to be able to print it out or be able to rasterize it into an image and then send that to the printer to print it out. So I'm going to do that using, because the application running on my Raspberry Pi that handles the code or the printing anyway is a Laravel application. I'm just going to use Spatty's browser shot package. That'll allow us to create a headless browser, throw in whatever we want to it. In this case, our code block that's styled nicely. Print it out or get an image from that, send it to the printer and print it out. So I should be able to do all that within a pretty close one shot here. If I go ahead and install browser shot, let's go ahead and install that and make sure that everything's working in here. So I should have npm installed in the Raspberry Pi, which that looks to be the only thing that I need besides the actual package itself. So do I have npm installed on this? I do. Okay, npm install Puppeteer. So let's go ahead and install that. Then once that finishes up, I'm gonna have to install browser shot as well. We'll install that with Composer. Nope. I have Hollow Knight Silksong in the background playing right now. I am currently obsessed with that soundtrack. So I hope anybody in here appreciates that. Gonna assume Puppeteer is a pretty big package. This might take a minute. All right, that installed fine. And am I in my app directory? Let's go ahead and require browser shot as well. Make sure that installs as expected. And then what we're going to do is basically copy over everything that I have here into a blade template. So we should be able to then use browser shot in the actual command and just pull in the whole contents from that blade file, build an image out of it, and send it out. All right, resources, views. Let's go ahead and let's call this code. Paste in everything in there. Write it. And then let's go ahead and open up our command file here. Should be up in here somewhere. Okay. So we need to be able to generate the image first from this. And using browser shot, we should be able to use, what is the full path to this? Here it is. I use Spatty browser shot, and let's try to implement that here. So instead of not graphic, let's call this raster, maybe. Browser shot. This is going to be HTML. View is code. So that should be all that's needed then. And then, was it set window size? Nope, just window size. Window size is 500 by 500. And I don't know, like, I guess, yeah, we'll save it. Let's save it as storage path app raster.png. And then we'll pull from that PNG. So we'll then load that up after that's been saved. I don't know if there's anything I need to do for the image saving. Is there a okay, by default the screenshot will be a PNG, so I don't need to do anything for that. Okay, so I guess we'll just try this out, see if it works. What's the worst that can happen? Print connector was not finalized. Did you forget to close the printer? That's strange. Maybe something failed silently and it just didn't print and it's complaining that the printer was still open. What's the other command that I have? Message emojis. Okay, so that printed out fine. But this is complaining. What am I doing wrong here? Maybe I should load up browser shop before I open up the printer. Before I open up the printer. Maybe that's causing some grief. I have everything correct in this, right? Yeah. Huh. So maybe we'll do delete these lines here, and then I'll put like a little debug statement here and say, all right, raster was completed. And then maybe this info graphic was loaded. So we get some debug statements in here. Yeah, so okay, this is the problem here is that this is failing, but for some reason, because the printer was open, it didn't dump out anything in the standard error. I failed to launch a browser process because I guess I don't have Chrome installed. Chrome headless, unterminated quoted string. Okay. Let's see if I can figure out what's going on with this. There shouldn't be any other requirement besides Puppeteer. Oh, maybe I have to install Chromium in here. Okay, so let's, I guess, do all of these here as well. Do all these commands. So Chrome's installed. And then let's get all of these prerequisites. Oh my gosh, all these prerequisites as well. There's a lot of them. All right, let's just see if this works now that I've installed this. Nope. Is it different at all this time? General error. No, unterminated quoted string. Chromium launch failure on Raspberry Pi. Apt install Chromium. Okay, I guess we can try this. Which Chromium? User bin Chromium. So try this. And then our command. It's not failing immediately. Possible good sign. Oh. Ah. Close. Close, but no cigar. We got the image printed out, but it's the wrong I. It's not using the fancy letter I. Why? Why? Let's see. I'm assuming maybe because it can't like reach the external internet for some reason. It's not letting that. Maybe I'm not letting the JavaScript run through fully, and it's just pulling out whatever is whatever's initially loading. Sandboxing. Let's see, performance, setting the CSS media of another page, timeout, typing on the page, using URL for HTML content, disable redirects, performance. See, I don't know if I'm getting any HTTPS errors. Failed requests, getting console output maybe. Console messages. Maybe we can DD the console messages and see if there's anything in there that's worthwhile. Console messages. Let's try that out. See if that gives us anything worthwhile. Yeah, it's null at that point. We can try then. Let's get rid of this. Oh my gosh. And let's just DD the whole thing, browser shot. I don't need the window size. Console messages. That'll let us know if we're getting any kind of issue with font loading up or anything like that. Nothing. So I have no idea why that's not loading up. Is there a way to like wait for JavaScript to like render and finish working? Dismiss dialogues. This disables JavaScript. Manipulating the image, setting the device scale. Disable JavaScript, disable images, block URLs. Oh, here, wait for lazy loaded resources. There we go. Wait until network idle. Yes, so here we go. Some websites lazy load resources via Ajax or use web fonts, which will not be loaded in time for the screenshot. Wait until network idle. So let's go ahead and try that out. All right, let's see if this works. Ah, perfect. There we go. We have a block of code that was brought in and then rastered into an image with a fancy beginning character of it on it and then printed out. So I think this is a pretty good stopping point for this. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up the stream. Thanks for everybody who came in here and joined. I appreciate it. And I'll make a post about this if you want to see maybe some of the additional code blocks we can get from this. Maybe have like a live code feed or something like that that will automatically generate these kinds of images. All right, see y'all later.